Hey, it's Amber. Thanks for checking out Travel Like a Local podcast, where every Monday I sit down with you and talk about the 47 countries I've visited. Each week we focus on a new experience I faced while abroad. Travel is so important and valuable. I hope this podcast helps you be prepared for whatever you might face while traveling abroad. Sit back, enjoy, and travel like a local. Hello, guys, and welcome to the very first podcast of Travel Like a Local. I am super excited to just sit down with you guys and to talk about the journeys that I've experienced, because I know a lot of people are not as blessed to experience the things that I have gotten to experience. So, yeah, I cannot wait to really just get in with you guys week by week and start this journey with you guys. So today, this is just kind of like an intro podcast. I want you guys to get to know me a little bit better. So I'm just going to answer some of the basic questions that I'm normally always asked. And I also have a link. It's 100 things to ask a traveler, and I'll put that link in the comments or in like the section that talks about this podcast. So yeah, I'm just gonna dive right in. So my name's Amber. I am the owner and establisher of Travel Like a Local. I originally just wanted to blog about my travel experiences, but I came to find out that I don't have a lot of time on my hands to just sit and type or write. And whenever I'm traveling, it's not easy at all to make the time to do this. So I kind of stopped traveling, stopped blogging about my travels. I still travel, of course, but so I really wanted a way to still travel blog, but not with writing. So I figured that a podcast would be great. For a while, I tried to sell travel, but again, that's not really what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about telling you guys my experiences as I travel. And I feel like I have so much knowledge about random things that are not useful unless you travel. So I really just I want to help people know how to travel because there's not like a traveling class. Before you go abroad, there's not somewhere you go to learn about how to do certain things in those countries or even at the airport, you know? So that's kind of where my heart is. I also absolutely just love cultures. I just think that cultures are so valuable, and I think that everyone should take the time to truly know about other people and not just about people around them, but people in other parts of the world. I think if you don't know about other people in other places, then you don't truly know about your own culture or your own beliefs. So yeah, that's where my heart is. And yeah, I'm going to be posting a podcast every Monday. So just come and be ready to have some fun and hear some sometimes crazy adventures, fun adventures, and really just tips on how to travel. So yeah, we're just gonna get right into it. So the number one question that I'm always asked is, what countries have I been to? So I'm not going to list all of them because I've been to 47 countries and that's just a lot to remember. And honestly, I normally forget the countries myself. So I will just say the continents that I've been to and the places that I've lived. So I lived in Lithuania for 6 months. And so, of course, I've been to Europe. I've been to so many countries in Europe. And I lived in Malaysia for 6 months. So I went to a lot of Southeast Asian countries. Not really like inland Asia, except like Pakistan. Yeah, that's really it. And then, of course, like more of the Middle East. Um, Israel, Palestine, Turkey, those countries. And then, yeah, America and, North America, all of the continents in North America. So, or all of the countries in North America. I have not been to Africa, and I have not been to South America or um, Australia. So, um, that leads me to the next question, where, like, what I want to go. What is, like, my bucket list place to go? And that is between Egypt and Australia and New Zealand. I really can't decide, but if someone bought me a plane ticket and said, let's go right now to wherever you choose, it would probably be one of those three. Okay, so those are like the two main questions that people normally ask me. And now the rest, the 100 things to ask a traveler, that's from the careerbreaksite.com. So yeah, we're just gonna jump into those questions. This was posted on September 4th, 2013. It says, the first question is, what is your favorite place so far? This is a really hard question as well, because when you travel to so many countries, there are different things that you realize that you like about some places compared to others, but certain experiences that stand out more as well. So I'm gonna get into this in a later podcast. Right now, I am just gonna give basic answers, and I'm just gonna say the country Georgia, specifically Tbilisi, Georgia. So yeah. Number 2, if you could swim with dolphins or go shark diving, which would you pick? I think I would choose to. This is a hard one actually, because I would do both. I would want to swim with dolphins and go shark diving, but I think shark diving because I like the adrenaline rush. I would probably be scared. So like my thought process as I was trying to decide which answer is like, do I want to be relaxed or do I want to have an adrenaline rush? And I think I like adrenaline rush better than being relaxed. Question number 3. What place is top of your bucket list? Well, I already answered this already from questions that people always ask me. And that, like I said, that would either be Egypt, Australia, or New Zealand. What can't you travel without? 100% headphones. I cannot travel without headphones. There was one time I lost my only pair of headphones. This was before AirPods were out or anything like that. And it was just basic headphones. But I lost them and I was on the plane without headphones and I thought I was going to go crazy. Those 18-hour flights are not doable, honestly, without headphones. Luckily, the airlines gave out headphones. But in the beginning, I don't accept headphones because that's kind of like unsanitary. But finally, I was like, okay, I need headphones. Like, I can't handle this. So, absolutely headphones. Um, Question number 5. Do you prefer solo travel or to travel with someone else? 100% solo travel because, and we're going to talk a lot about this in like later shows in the podcast, solo travel really truly helps you grow as a person, and it also, like, you don't have to worry about if anyone else is enjoying the time or if you're doing things that other people like to do. So yeah, definitely solo travel. Um, we're gonna skip number 6 because I don't like to choose between specific places, and it's asking Machu Picchu or Angkor Wat, and I don't like to choose that. So, number 7, who is the person at home that you miss the most? Well, right now my fiance lives overseas, so he's not technically at home, but I mean, it's gonna be him eventually whenever he gets here. But if I had to choose, I would say I miss my cat the most or my dog the most. I love animals probably more than humans. So, question number 8. What home comfort do you miss the most? This is actually very interesting. So my first instinct was like normal toilets, because whenever you're in Southeast Asia, they have like the squatty potties, and that's one thing that you really miss while there, at least I really miss, is having just normal toilets. And that's one thing that I feel like people in America or in the Western world take for granted. So yeah, that's my answer is toilets. Number 9. Oh wait, actually for number 8, also like free toilets because in Europe you have to pay to use the public restroom. So yeah, definitely toilets and free toilets. Number 9, what has been the most interesting item of food you've tasted? Probably, oh, I might have to look up um, how to pronounce this word. It was from Malaysia. It's like durian fruit. That is so interesting. If you don't know what that is, you should Google it. It's the smelliest fruit that you'll ever smell. And it's like either some people love it or some people hate it. So, yeah, if you're ever in Southeast Asia, look for durian fruit. Durian. I don't know if I pronounced that correct. Um, Number 10. What food item from your home country do you miss the most when traveling? I would say when traveling in Europe, I miss root beer because they don't have root beer in most parts of Europe. I might be wrong, and you can leave a comment or email me if you know of any country that does have root beer in Europe. But I was not able to find root beer while I was there. But actual food items, I mean, maybe like chicken fried chicken, maybe. I don't know. Like, I like foreign food and I eat foreign food most of the time. So, yeah, whenever I'm like home in America, I miss other food, not so much the other way around. Okay. Number 11. Which country makes the best coffee or tea? Oh my gosh. 100% Bali. Bali's coffee and tea is absolutely amazing. I am pretty sure it's maybe just like a tourist trap or something, but I was on a tour and like they have where you go to like a plantation, I guess, or like a coffee plantation, and you taste like 10 or 20 of these different teas. And oh my gosh, literally every single one of them tasted like the bomb.com. It was amazing. I would highly recommend it. I need to, I guess, Google and see what place I went so that I can like inform you guys whenever we talk about that in depth because that is a place 100% that you have to go to. Okay. Number 12. If you could ever only eat rice or potatoes, which would you pick? Okay, guys. This is an easy question for me. 100% potatoes. I lived in Lithuania for 6 months, and that's like the only thing that would grow in the winter is potatoes. So they get super creative with their dishes. And let me tell you, with potato, you can do absolutely almost anything with a potato. Oh, goodness, it's so good. Okay, 13. Who would win in a fight? A polar bear with a rifle or a shark with a laser gun? Well, 100% a shark with a laser gun. I'm not even gonna get into that question. Okay. 14. Which country has the friendliest people? Oh, this is hard because I don't want to like offend anyone, but also like I don't like to make favorites as well, especially with countries, because I see valuable in every country. Like they're all valuable. Um, if I had to just say whatever comes to my mind the first, I would say Georgia, the country. But I mean, there's nice people everywhere. Yeah, I think I just have to go with Georgia. Um, who is the most interesting person you've met so far? Mm, I have to think on this one. Most interesting person that I've met while traveling. This is a hard one, y'all. I I can't really think of someone that's interesting, I guess, but maybe like a girl who did my hair whenever I was in Taiwan. She was like, this isn't really, I mean, it was just more sad, I guess, than interesting. But she was like having a birthday for her daughter, and like she was explaining how they didn't have like an actual kitchen, so they had to go out and buy a cake. It was cheaper than like actually like buying the equipment to make a cake. So that was like an interesting scenario. I mean that I mean, I don't know. That's my answer. What's been your scariest moment? Oh, okay. So, again, we're definitely going to talk about this later on in the series, but I was in Barcelona, Spain, and I had just gotten off the plane. I had just landed. It was like 2 in the morning, and I was taking a train to my hostel. So, okay, I'm in a country I've never been in before, and I'm alone at 2 o'clock in the morning. I had just seen like this huge rat in the train underground area, and I don't know. I didn't have a good feeling in general. And then I got on the train, and there was this man, and he was homeless, which is totally like I no judgment there, but he was homeless, and he just kind of stared at me. Normally, I don't like to make eye contact with strangers, especially at 2 o'clock in the morning. And he just starts laughing, like hysterical laughing. And I think that some people can just tell when they're in danger or something bad is about to happen. And my instincts kicked in, and I just felt really uncomfortable. So the very next train stop, I waited right before like the doors were about to close, and the train went to the next stop, and I like darted off the train because I wanted to make sure that he wouldn't follow me. And so like the rest of my time that I was in Barcelona, I just had this weird feeling. And like I guess in my mind, I just kept replaying that laugh, and that terrified me. But that's really more of like I guess my anxiety. But other than that, I haven't had a bad experience while traveling. And I've been to 47 countries. I've traveled for the past 4 years. Like I haven't had a bad experience. I've had bad experiences home, in my home country, but not while traveling, which is very interesting to me. And we'll definitely talk about that in more depth in a later podcast. Okay, number 17, toilets, squatty potties or Western toilets. Like I said before, absolutely Western toilets. But again, we're going to talk about that more in depth in another podcast. So you should come back and listen to that one. Um, Number 18, what's your most embarrassing moment? Probably whenever I had to use a squatty potty and I didn't know what I was doing, basically. And it's like there was this huge line, and people were trying to like help me and explain to me, how to flush the toilet, how to use the water hose. Yeah, that was super embarrassing. 19, how many foreign words have you learned so far? I mean, I'm not going to count how many foreign words I can say, but I know and can understand a little bit of German, Lithuanian, a little bit of Urdu, Malaysian, Arabic. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Um, Number 20. How many different currencies are you carrying? Honestly, probably like 40. I try to save at least like a penny. It's not a penny, but the lowest amount that I can get from each currency, just so I can save it. Just, kind of as a souvenir. I'm not someone who really likes to collect certain things, but I guess you can kind of say I collect currency, but not religiously. 21. What have you brought that you haven't used? Oh my gosh. The amount of clothes that I bring when I travel is insane. Like, seriously, the memes are correct whenever it's like, oh, I'll wear the same shirt or same jeans, for 3 days in a row. But when I travel, I pack like 3 pairs of pants for each day. And that's so true. Well, it used to be. Now I'm a lot better with that. But that used to be so true with the amount of clothes I would pack. But let's see what else. Everyone always says to carry a water bottle. In all reality, I do not carry. I carry it, but I don't use it. Like, I don't, maybe that's just a personal thing though. Maybe I don't drink as much as I'm supposed to. So, yeah. But yeah, definitely a water bottle maybe. Okay. What's the most useful item that you've brought? The most useful item would be this blow up pillow that I use on the plane. It's like this, it's huge, honestly, but it's amazing because you put it in your lap and then it has a spot for you to lay your head on it and you kind of put your arms inside. I'll have to post a picture of it on my website, but that is probably the most useful item that I've ever, ever used when traveling. Either that or also like the portable phone charger. Um, Okay, I'm gonna skip a few of these questions because we're gonna go into like some really deep, um, like deeper discussions about some of this stuff in later podcasts, and I don't want to really repeat myself. So, okay, 25. Would you rather be rich and ugly or poor and pretty? Definitely rich and ugly because if you have money, then like, you don't have to have someone else to make you happy. Like that's what you kind of learn whenever you travel solo is it doesn't matter what you look like when you're overseas, like people just see you as, where you come from, not so much how you look. Um, and maybe that's, not the same case for everyone, but that's how it has been for me. How did your relatives feel about you traveling? So, most of my family has never left the United States except for my sister. And my family is absolutely closed-minded. They don't want to travel. I've offered to pay for my family to travel, and they don't want to travel. So I respect them, but my mom definitely has me like message her and call her like every day just to check in. And I'm pretty sure she's like nauseous every time before I leave to go on a trip. And even like while I'm on the trip, she probably sleeps the same time zone that I'm in. Um, what's the longest you've been away from home? Maybe I think 8 months. Whenever I went to Southeast Asia and then I went to Pakistan. Yeah, that was probably like a total of 8 months. What is your dream job? My dream job is teaching English overseas, um, either overseas or like online while I'm traveling. Um, again, I'm skipping a few of these questions. Okay, how do you document your trip? This is question number 33. I am not good at this. I take pictures. That's how I document my trip. That's why I am honestly starting this podcast because I didn't document enough. And if there's anything I could tell anyone is to document while you're traveling. It'll be so valuable to go back and look at these the writings that you have from the day that were doing something really cool. And like you can write about the feelings that you felt because no matter what, I'm never going to get those times back. And I'm not going to remember it the way that I would have remembered it the night that they happened. Okay, number 39, dorm or private room? this really depends on like my mood and how long I've been traveling. If I'm just starting to travel and it's like the first, second, third week of traveling, 100% dorm room so that I can meet people, possibly tag along with people as they're traveling, explore the city with people. Um, but if I'm like getting close to the end of my trip or even like in the middle, I definitely need some time for myself and I need a private room. So both, I would say. Um, okay, let's see. 46. How much stuff have you lost? I've lost AirPods, I've lost my phone, my passport, my debit cards. Uh, yeah, myself. I've lost myself when traveling, definitely. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, um, train or bus? 100% train. I love traveling by train. It's so much fun. It makes me feel like a local. Um, fan or air conditioning? This is one thing whenever you're traveling, if you're an American, I am so used to air conditioning being on constantly. And in other parts of the world, that's not how they do life. They either have a fan that they'll turn on or they'll turn on the air conditioning only when they're in that room or only when they're home. So when they leave, they turn it off. So when you come home and you've been like out and about and you're sweating and you're like, oh my gosh, I just need air conditioning. You come in the door and it's hot inside your house as well. So yeah, that's one thing. Yeah. Um, 59. That's a good question. What's the most reliable source of travel advice? I love Nomadic Matt. He is more targeted for backpackers and that's, more of what I consider myself as a backpacker. So yeah, I would definitely 100% recommend checking him out. Um, 64. Do you send postcards? I do not send postcards to like my family unless like I'm somewhere for long term and I want them to see where I am. Now, my very first few trips that I ever took, I sent postcards to myself, which was really cool, but I guess I don't know, sometimes I just get lazy and recently I just haven't been doing that. So yeah, I need to start doing that though. It's definitely cool. Um, let's see. Okay, question number 73, city or countryside? I think this also depends on what country I'm in, but for the most part, city. Mm, what is the longest single journey you've ever taken? I was in full transit once for a whole month. I just had short layovers and I went to, I think it was 10 different countries in 1 month. Very short layovers or like, not long that I was in each country, but that was like a full transit month. And I was kind of just trying to see how many countries I could hit within 1 month. And that was like around the whole world. I went around the world in 1 month and went to 10 different countries. Um, okay, number 88. Would you rather see a lot of places or get to know one really well? This is really hard. I think in the beginning, like, my goal is to see sorry if you can hear the train, by the way, but my goal is to go to every country in the world, um, just so I can kinda get a vibe for everywhere and see what my favorite is, and then after I visit every country, then I would want to start focusing and staying in places longer than just, a week or 2 weeks. So I think both, but that's a really good question. Let's see. This is funny. Number 92 says, who at home emails you the most? I wouldn't say emails because I don't really do emails anymore, but my mom definitely calls me the most. Um, and the last question would be number 97. Um, Are you usually early, late, or bang on time? Whatever bang on time means. But I am normally an early person. I get at the airport, I don't know, maybe 2 hours earlier than I'm supposed to. So yeah, I like to be on time. I don't like to be stressed out because for me, traveling isn't something that, you're supposed to be worried about or, stressing. It's something that's relaxing. So yeah, and like I said, you guys check out these questions on the careerbreaksite.com, and it's 100 things to ask a traveler. It's under travel and then just for fun. And if there's any of these questions that you want me to have a podcast about, you can just let me know. I'm probably honestly going to use most of these to have full 30-minute podcasts and go way more in depth with these questions. So yeah, that's kind of, what the podcast is going to consist of. And again, this podcast was just an introduction and just for you to kind of get to know me, my travel style, see, if you're even interested in listening to this podcast, which I think you should. Because like I said, I feel like I have so much experience and I just want to share what I've learned and what I've gone through when traveling abroad. So yeah, I hope you have a good rest of your week. Mondays, I hope you had a decent Monday. Mondays aren't the best, but you got through it. So that's what matters. And I hope you have a great day, great week, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.